Right. Peterlee, The Key to the Sea, with Dean House Primary. Gold stars. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. A long time ago, when everything was black and white, Mike Felton and his friends forever liked to play out together. Peterlee was built where they used to play cricket, with a metal dustpan lid for a wicket. This is when they used to get excited. Peterlee, the key to the sea, it's still a home for you and me.
Peterlee 75 was a marvellous opportunity to investigate further the creation of this town and to give, particularly to younger people in the town, a real grasp of where they had grown up in.
We launched the project with the opening exhibition, which was The Place to Be, which was really telling the sort of main narrative of how Peterlee came to be, who conceived it, who built it. And then that kicked off a project called Living Memory. That is where we were asking local residents to share their stories and all photographs with us, which was a kind of counterpoint to the opening exhibition, which was full of lots of archive material.
I provided some photographs, evidence of when I was a child and when my children were children growing up in Peterlee as well.
I think it's really important that the people of Peterlee get a grasp on their history. It makes the whole idea of living and celebrating Peterlee 75 really means something at a very fundamental level to all elements of all agencies, all ages.
We provided photographs, anecdotal evidence, stories, which were put into a display in Peterlee Town Centre. People were invited, open invite, and since those photographs went up there, the number of phone calls and messages and text messages I've just seen you in the town centre. So it has stimulated people's interest in, hang on, what's this all about? What is Peterlee's not old enough to have a memory, is it? Well, it does, yeah.
I saw the exhibition. I was in the Peterlee Town Centre just doing a bit of shopping, and I saw the exhibition and I was like, oh my goodness, those photographs of the street where I was brought up in, and photographs of different parts of Peterlee and the town centre and how it used to be before it all got changed. And I just thought, oh, I'd love a copy of them photographs. I spoke to Colin Robson, and then he contacted me and said, we're setting up a history group. Would you be interested in coming along and having a, see if it's something that you'd like to be interested in?
We wanted to be able to begin to tell that story and then use some of that material to inspire other creative input. So we gave all that material to all of the schools in Peterlee and the artists who were going to work with them. There was a fantastic roster of musicians, really the kind of cream of the crop from the northeast region. And they went into schools and did a series of workshops with the kids, writing songs.
I'd never had any experience of writing songs, so the opportunity to do that with some real songwriters was fantastic.
The kids were just thirsty and hungry for expressing themselves, and I found it really moving and exciting myself, and I was really excited to go in the second time, and they saw me coming from down the corridor with my guitar, and they started jumping up and down and shouting "Calf!" and like really excited. I was like, oh my God, I've never been like so happy, to see what a reaction. I've never had that reaction in all my career.
And then the next phase was Festival 75. That was an opportunity for the children to perform with their artists who were going to be performing their own major sets.
This festival brought together all of those elements together in one place as a celebration of the town itself, so that families could come, and it's really wonderful to see people being able to just walk to a venue and be able to see world-class music.
It wasn't just the artists that they'd worked with, there was some students from the college themselves working there. They had all of their families and grandparents at the event with them. So that being sense of their community, which gives them sort of pride about where they live and more likely to look after their community and look after the local area and understanding the significance of things that have happened, how it's changed. Obviously the songwriting side of it as well, they've gained confidence and they've taken that into their English lessons with their poetry now. So when we do our poetry lessons, we've started to incorporate songs into it, so the children they've becoming gifted songwriters based on that one experience. They're bringing that into other elements of school life, and actually they've had children bringing songs in to show me that they've written at home.
Just to introduce this possibility that there are people who make a living out of writing songs and performing them, it is something that I suspect most of the young people, it had never kind of registered to them that actually this is a career that could be open to them in the future. So it is fantastic to have that kind of collaboration going.
I could feel this acceptance of creativity into their lives. When it came to the chorus, they were like, Peterlee, the key to the sea. They were so into it. It was beautiful, yeah. So I could feel the pride. They were excited about doing the gig. The girls were backstage doing their makeup and hair, and the boys were pacing. I was like, it felt like momentous for them, you know.
The artists themselves were brilliant with the children. In the school, Catherine Williams, she really kindly, she was sort of so enamoured and taken by our pupils and their enthusiasm and their engagement that she donated part of her fee to providing the school with some ukuleles, which now they're part of our music curriculum. So again, it's not just the Peterlee, it's the musical side of it as well.
It has been a wonderful ride. We've done some marvellous things. My own particular highlight was actually Garden City Futures.
It was very much student-led where appropriate. Creative activities included a site visit, so looking at a case study, and then allowing the students the time to reflect on that process. So we introduced the students to the design process, who is involved in creating green spaces, who is involved in creating a community garden, and how can young people have agency in that process.
They were looking to explore the use of green open space in Peterlee, how it could be rethought in terms of how it addresses the needs of the 21st century. And that culminated in an exhibition which opened alongside the Living Memory exhibition.
The work they produced was outstanding, in fact much higher I think than anybody expected, and I suspect that will have an ongoing impact on the development of urban awareness, environmental awareness within the town.
I'm passionate about young people having transferable skills and then taking that off to the next project. These students happen to be applying for apprenticeships and for university places, and they all took this portfolio onto those particular avenues, and that was just fantastic to see and to be part of that enabling.
We're really sad that it's finished. There is so much more potential to do creative and interesting activities in this unique town that should be proud of itself.
This project hopefully leads to more stories, to more photographs for people to access in the future.
There's loads of different people, loads of different stories. We want to get everyone, happy memories. So, when our children's children look back in 100 years or the 200th anniversary of Peterlee, they can see how it all began, who we were.
The learners who've worked on the festival have within themselves the capacity to stage their own gigs, and they have been doing that, and they've been broadening their scope. So they've been doing gigs in Newcastle and outside of the area and looking beyond their previous window of experience. But what would be really wonderful would be to continue the success of the festival over and over again. Peterlee 76, bring it on.
Hopefully going forward, I'd like to think that part of that legacy will be that they're aware of their history through the history of Peterlee and what that means going forward in terms of making sure that they stay, they look after their community, they're part of the community, and that they take care of each other and take care of the area.
This school has amazing kids that if they're given the opportunity to be creative, they could fly with it. Every time I drive past Peterlee on tour, I sing the song to anyone who'll listen. Amazing. We've done a chorus!